I'm the one that's choosing to do these things. And so I have to take a hard look at that and like figure out why I've signed up for so many things. And it can be really rude awakening when you realize that like you control your destiny.
That was Trina Haynes, founder of My Lady ADHD, co-host of the Brainwaves podcast, and growth and partnerships manager at Shimmer ADHD Coaching, sharing her journey with burnout and ADHD. In this conversation, Trina shares how in 2021, she first discovered the term burnout, then subsequently realized that her whole life since 15 or 16 was one perpetual state of burnout, a revelation that sparked her ongoing mission to help other ADHD adult women. You will hear about her powerful insights on the people-pleasing tendencies that lead to burnout, why asking for help is particularly challenging for adult ADHDers, and how she balances raising 3 teenage daughters, including homeschooling one, while juggling multiple professional roles. She also shares practical strategies for burnout prevention, including creating a, quote, bare minimum version of your self-care practices, and also reconnecting with childhood activities that used to bring you joy. This is Stephen Tonti alongside Aaron Smith, and you're listening to the Attention Different podcast. Let's dive right in.
So I think I have laryngitis, and the last 4 days I've had no voice. Today's my first day like talking again. And like yesterday I was in the living room and I was like, why does the house feel weird? Like everything's different. And they were like, well, you have lost your voice. Like the whole energy of the house shifted because I haven't been talking. So like I was like, the house just doesn't feel as fun. It's not as like
different.
It's like so boring. And I'm like, oh wait, it's me. I'm the problem. Like I gave everyone a break for 3 or 4 days and now I'm back. But it's okay. I'm with my friends. We're gonna talk about ADHD.
Yeah, round 2. We've been meeting with the ADHD conference homies this week.
Fun.
Yeah, this feels like a nice clubhouse.
Oh my gosh, how fun. I'm gonna see a bunch of those people in Austin in a few weeks.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really excited. There's like I just now booked the Airbnb and there's like 8 of us and like Danny Donovan and Jesse Anderson and like McCabe's coming. Like it's gonna be a fun time. So
we had it high up on our schedule, and then of course like owning and operating a growing company got in the way.
Yeah, so I know. Yeah. I get it too. Like I'm sure you guys. I travel a lot. I'm sure Stephen, you travel a lot.
Used to, all the time.
It's hard to do all the fun things, but
yeah. I was like I said, adolescence into adulthood could be described as there was once a time that I could pack a bag smaller than a backpack full of the requisite clothing and amenities that I needed and travel for days. Like
I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
Not one time have I experienced that.
Oh, wow. I used to call it my go bag for real. It was an Oracle leather bag and it was small. It was the tiniest duffel bag.
Okay, but the shoes, like what do you do about the shoes?
No, that's the thing. This was also before having like any disciplined, like healthy physical routine. I wasn't like, I didn't need to pack gym shoes. I didn't need to pack nice shoes. It was just like one pair of nice shoes, tennis shoes.
Impressed.
Also the ones you're wearing. It would literally be like, I'm wearing one of the 2 pair of shoes I'm going to have this weekend.
Yeah.
And the other one's in this bag. Yeah.
It's just not possible for me, but okay.
Don't get me wrong. We've completely flipped, Trina. I have too many checked bags, and my friends look at me like I'm saying, why are you bringing an entire mixing board on this snowboarding trip? I might have to record something.
You never know. Always prepared. Oh Lord.
All right, well let's shift into this.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Attention Different podcast. My name is Stephen Tonti, and my co-host is
Aaron Smith.
And we are Attention Different, a radical acceptance-based ADHD adulting edutainment and advocacy company. And on the podcast today, we are extra thrilled. We are super stoked to have not only a contemporary of ours, but we're honored to say a dear friend, Trina Haynes, or My Lady ADHD, as some of you may know her. We just hung out with Trina on a film shoot in Colorado where we had a bunch of fun talking about ADHD adulting. And now we've got her in the studio talking about herself, talking about ADHD, thriving, surviving, all of it. We're going to get into it. But first, Trina, tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here. I am Trina. I am the founder of My Lady ADHD. It is a platform for late diagnosed women with ADHD. And I'm also the co-host of the Brainwaves podcast.
Excellent. Thanks for coming.
Wow, that was
awesome. David's not here, so when our producer daddy's not in the room, we get to play around with the special effects.
Oh my gosh. I hope the whole episode is just special effects. That sounds fun.
You really don't, I promise. So Aaron, take us away.
So Trina, you are doing a lot of different things. You have your hand in all of these different buckets. And just for our listeners, kind of give us a little bit of a sense of what your workload is like. What are all of the things on your plate right now?
Oh my gosh. How long is this episode?
You've got 30 minutes. Go.
I have my hand in a lot of things because, one, I have ADHD. So, I don't really know another way. This is how it's always been. But yeah, so I do My Lady ADHD. I mostly create content for late diagnosed women, help women kind of discover their ADHD, because that's kind of how I discovered my ADHD. And I also, like I said, co-host the Brainwaves podcast, and I'm the growth and partnerships manager at Shimmer ADHD Coaching, which, that's a lot right there. There's a whole lot more outside of that, but those are the main three pillars of my day right there.
And wow. you told us that is a lot of stuff. And you told us that you've had this experience with burnout, and that you're thinking about writing a book on burnout. Can you tell us what led to that burnout? Maybe kind of take us back to, like you said, you have all of these things going on, and you tend to take on more and more and more. Let us know what that looked like for you.
Yeah, so I didn't even know that burnout was a thing until maybe 2021. A friend of mine had sent me an article about burnout and ADHD, and it literally sparks went off in my brain. I just could not resonate with anything more than that. And basically realized that my whole life since I was about 15 or 16 was a perpetual state of burnout. And yeah, it's been exhausting. So, once I kind of discovered the word that described my whole life, I kind of went down the rabbit hole like we tend to do with ADHD. And, now I just won't stop talking about it, because I feel like there's so many other women in particular out there like me who have been experiencing burnout, but just maybe haven't had a name to put to what they've been going through. And I've met so many women who are struggling with burnout. And honestly, it's just been a healing journey ever since then of figuring out how to combat it. And it's something that I wake up every day to try to prevent, is burnout. And here I am on the podcast with laryngitis, which, to be honest, kind of plays into the burnout that I've been struggling with forever. Is I kind of always am sick. Every few months, I'm just sick and exhausted. So it's definitely a huge part of my life, and something that I am writing a book about because it's impacted me so much.
What are the unique factors that you think go into adult women experiencing burnout? What are some of those things that you think is different about their experience than men with ADHD?
Yeah, it's so hard. I think for women in particular, it's a lot of people pleasing, just in societal norms. Women are just kind of taught to be people pleasers. And so saying no is usually not, an option for us, basically. So there's that. And then when you have ADHD, you just have so many interests. You're drawn in so many directions. And I, in particular, am an entrepreneur. And so there's a lot that goes into that. And a lot of people with ADHD are entrepreneurs. And we just work really hard. And it also never really feels like enough work. So we're constantly doing more and more and more until we burn out. And it's just this really rough cycle. I think it's the people pleasing, the societal norms, and just
parenting,
having a lot of interests.
Just having to, parent children on top of that, or be a mother, or how does that factor into it? I mean, I guess for you,
oh my gosh,
your experience.
Well, yeah, we know we're having that moment where we know enough about Trina. We know so much about Trina. When she was listing off the work stuff, I was sitting here privately being like, "You haven't talked about the personal stuff on top of that yet."
Yeah, I have 3 teenage daughters, and I homeschool the youngest one. So I'm also like a homeschool mom.
So wait, you
somehow.
have like 3 jobs, 3 or 4. I can't even count how
Well,
many
yeah.
jobs. And
So many.
3 daughters and homeschooling one. Like,
Yeah, honestly, I don't think we're even scratching the surface of the things that I'm involved in. And I actually have I've listed them out to my ADHD coach like a few times, been like, can you just I just need someone to read or hear that like all the things on my plate. But like, it's so hard because a lot of that I've done to myself, so like I'm the one that's choosing to do these things. And so yeah, I have to take a hard look at that and like figure out why I've signed up for so many things and why I'm involved in so many projects. And it can be really rude awakening when you realize that like you control your destiny. So it's rough.
Or hilarious. I mean, I find
it's comical.
Yeah, like I've had. I think I feel this energy from you, Trina. We all feel like contemporaries in this way, but like I had a mother who, thank God, taught me a dark, twisted sense of humor. Like the funny side of trauma, and I have had both as well as you. It sounds like where like someone reads it back to me and I go, oh shit, that's too much. That's so much.
Yeah.
And then I read it back to myself alone in the car and just start laughing manically. Like,
yeah, I've gone in my journal and just been like, let's just break down like what all the things. I forgot to mention, like I'm planning an in-person event for 300 people in Austin, Texas.
Oh, just that.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Well, I manage planning a conference.
I manage like 3 or 4 social media accounts. Like, yeah, I guess it is a lot. It's weird though, because I think some of it is like related to like time blindness or I just feel like there's enough time. Like, I just feel like I can do it. Like, I think I have like an above average sense of optimism, or like, I just really trust that I can do things. And I have a lot of skills. Because I've been doing so many things for so long, I have a really wide range of skill sets. And so when someone says, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, I've never done that before. That sounds awesome. And like, part of it is just wanting to live a really full life. Like, I desperately want to live a very full life and not have any regrets. So and that plays into it.
Yeah, those things
bit.
butt up against each other. There's like this desire to be doing a lot of stuff and keep your life interesting and those exciting opportunities that come your way. And then there's the other side of it, the flip side, which is like, well, how do I manage all this stuff and keep myself sane and survive?
There's also like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I have to tell myself that all the time, is like, just because you can plan an event for 300 people doesn't mean you actually should. And like, maybe just like that's enough, is like knowing that I am capable of that, but that doesn't mean that I have to do that, or figuring out how to have like a lesser role in whatever I really want to do. Like, maybe I don't need to be the one in charge of the event. Maybe I need to just handle a really small piece of it and still get to be involved, but not like in charge of the whole thing. So I'm trying that a little bit at a time to like, well, how do I, like the podcast that I co-host, I was hosting my own podcast for like a year, and I loved my podcast, but it was really draining on me and like really time consuming. And so I found a way to be involved in a podcast where I'm a co-host, and all I really have to do is show up and talk for 45 minutes. Right. And that's like the best of both worlds for me. So like, I try to find ways where I can participate, but not like give it my all. I do end up giving it my all most of the time. But yeah, it's a really weird balance. And so I do a lot of things, but I don't like own any of them really. Like, I'm involved in them, but I'm not like in charge of them, if that makes sense.
That's a good workaround too, is to kind of try to look at for our audience, is like to look at your capacity and your amount of energy, your availability, and ask yourself, is there a way for me to spread this out a little bit? So if I do want to be part of something, try to, have it be so it's not you having to own the whole thing. Oh yeah, I'll do all of that.
It's so hard not to, right? Though, because if someone's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, can you do this?" My initial reaction is yes. Like I don't have
Because you're
that
answering the
filter.
question. Wait, because you're
Yeah,
answering
I'm
the
like,
question
I
directly.
can. Yes, of course I can do
And I hear
that.
I hear the trick in your own brain.
I'm
Like,
really capable. Like I'm
Yeah.
completely capable of doing that. So like, yeah, I can do that. And I always want to be helpful. And it is really hard to like maybe not commit to something or to say no when you're like, I don't have that filter of like, wait. I don't ever have that. Wait, let's think about this filter, which is, challenging.
Yeah. In this way, I think I too have come around. I love it when someone says, "Do you want to?" these days, rather than "Can you?" Like I like when my homies, like my age in our 30s, whatever, say, "Hey, do you want to work on this thing?" I think that sometimes gives me, maybe I'm off base here, Aaron, but that sometimes gives me a little pause because I actually go, "Do I want to do it?" rather than "Can you do it?" I have some kind of ego attachment to it still. That's like, yes, I can.
Oh, that's so important. So I actually had a therapist. I was dealing with this, years ago. I had a therapist kind of walk me through like a chart. I can't think of the right word, but basically it's like, if you do this, you go to what's that chart called where you like,
Problem tree.
If the answer is yes, go here. If the answer is no, go here, kind of thing.
Oh, like a decision tree.
Like a decision tree.
Matrix, yeah.
And she helped me like come up with my own decision tree for like whether I should add more things to my calendar. And basically what it looked like is pretty much the answer was no every time. So it's like, oh, do you want to do this? I'm like, well, no. Okay, then do you have time? Well, no. Okay. Well, do you have energy?
Cool.
Well, no. I mean, every single time the answer was no. And I was like, oh, I hate this tree. I hate it. I can't do anything fun.
The tree of truth.
Yeah.
The truth tree.
Yes. I hated
that happens.
it.
I think that happens because we impulsively say yes. Or like, when we're in front of people, right? So like you said, the people pleasing tendencies and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll take that on. And we're excited in the moment. But if we pause, if we look at those decision points and we ask ourselves, we reflect, wait, where's my energy? How much time do I have? Do I really have the capacity? Is this something I actually, know what I'm signing up for? Like, right? And if we pause and think about it, we can make a more informed decision based on all of the other things that's going on.
Well, here's the other piece of that is sometimes, and I know other people with ADHD can resonate with this, is sometimes you sign up for something and you're really excited in the moment, and then it starts to like prove, really exhausting or really draining. And you feel like so much shame around backing out of that thing, like having to go back and be like, oh, actually, I don't really have the energy for this. Like, it's such a gut punch. And like, it feels so painful for me to have to be like, hey, I overcommitted. I'm really sorry.
Totally.
Especially in the neurotypical world. So like, usually with my ADHD friends or my ADHD coworkers, like they totally get it. They're like, hey, do not feel bad about this. Like there's so much compassion and understanding from the ADHD community, but like the neurotypical world is like, just doesn't feel as safe to make that claim of like, hey, I'm burnout. I can't do this. And so, you end up just staying in something that you're like suffering through because you don't have that voice to say, no, I actually can't do this. And like, that's a really hard thing to get past, I think. I still struggle with that. I'm involved in projects right now that like, I probably shouldn't be, and I'm like pulling myself along to like get through there. So it's like a work in progress, I guess. But I feel like a lot of people with ADHD can resonate with that feeling of shame of having to like cancel something that you signed up for.
100%.
100%. What are some of those other signs of like burnout for you? And I can go like, if you would, just for a moment here, I can kind of list off a few of the things, and you just tell me like if this is some of the stuff that has come up for you.
Go ahead, Aaron. I will agree to all of them. But
yeah.
So some of the signs of burnout can be loss of motivation, energy, difficulty initiating or completing tasks. Like obviously ADHDers already have some of that, but it's like pronounced difference, right? Like you are like pulling yourself along to do the thing, right?
Oh, so painful. It's so painful.
Another one would be like decreased confidence, like doubting yourself, doubting your abilities. So things you may have been confident in before, like you just find your confidence dropping.
Of course. Yes. Check.
Another one would be like worsening mental health. So, some kind of increase in anxiety, depression, other symptoms those things start coming more to the surface.
Yeah, it's so hard because everything you're naming is already a part of ADHD a lot of the times. It's just like more pronounced, like you said. It's just like more intense.
I think like some other stuff is like maybe being more irritable, being more angry, feeling more restless, snappy at people around you,
What's
coworkers,
that like
partners.
Yeah, does that ring a bell? Hold on. Snappy had a moment.
Yeah. I'm already kind of snappy sometimes, but yes, during burnout moments, yeah, you're like emotionally like just dysregulated. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And then I think a big one is fatigue, like overall fatigue, kind of brain fog. Feel like your head isn't just really in a foggy place. And even you can get to the point of it being, you feeling disconnected, like disassociating from your life. Like you just don't feel grounded.
Oh, that one's really interesting because one of the signs for me of burnout is so I regularly have like a journaling practice. I journal every single night for like 8 years. Like this is a core practice that I have. And when I'm entering burnout or when I one of the signs is that I just stop doing that. So I won't be journaling. Like I'll open up my journal and be like, wow, I haven't journaled in like 4 or 5 days. Like something is going on. And that's kind of my first indicator of like, this is a core self-care practice that I do. And when I'm kind of going through burnout, like self-care is out the window, like not probably showering as much, to be honest with you, like not going to the gym, like not eating well, like all of the self-care mechanisms that I have in place normally just kind of go out the window because I'm kind of like working on just staying afloat in all of the burnout mess. So like, it's good to like know those things about yourself, I think, of like, well, what are some basics in my life that I do every day? And when I stop doing those, it's kind of like a red flag for me of like, well, what's going on? What's taking me away from those things that are so important to me?
I like the framing of a core self-care practice too. Like even like as a vocab word, like I will use that going forward. Like, hey, have you noticed any core self-care practices going on?
Yeah, like some people like maybe they're really good at like their morning routine, like they've perfected, like they have a nice little routine and like or meditation practice or a yoga practice. And when those things just like fall off, it's a red flag for me. It's an indicator to like, okay, how do I get back on track and like what's going on to prevent me from that? And I think it's just like a lot of self-reflection and like looking at your routines and like what's changed. So yeah, that's a big one for me. And usually when I notice that, first thing I do is I grab my journal and I just word vomit. Like what's going on? Like what is going on? Why is this happening?
Like you have a conversation with yourself about this. Like
like what is happening? Like why aren't you journaling? Biatch.
The first. I mean, that's so endearing. That's the word. It's endearing. Like we got to give a little pause though, because the ADHD adult response could be more shame, right? More embarrassment, more of a spiral.
It is. Sometimes I open the journal. I'm like, wow, you can't even journal. Like this is something you do every day. You can't spend 10. Like there's the loop is there. The loop doesn't really go away. And sometimes it feels like, oh, this is just one more thing I have to do now. Like I already have so many other things I have to do, and now I have to journal. And but I don't look at it that way. I look at it more of like, okay, this is my therapy time. I need this. This is like going to help me get through the burnout. It's just one of those things that works for me. And I hate telling people to journal because people hate being told to journal. Like they do not like that as a coping mechanism or a coping skill. But for me, it works, right? And some people, it's not going to work. But there probably is something that is similar to journaling in your life that is like a core, like a core self-care thing.
I'm gonna go a little bit deeper here because I know you talked about kind of on the surface level of I commit to a lot of things because I'm interested, because it sounds really exciting. What's underneath that? What do you think is going on? Is there some kind of deeper motivation there, whether that's something like this need to prove yourself or something like that?
Do we have to go that deep? No.
You're on the Attention Different podcast, baby.
I think it's it's so hard because, as you know, there's so many studies about all the negative messaging that you hear as someone with ADHD. Like you hear so many more negative messages. I do think there might be like an underlying like proving my worth type thing of like, look how valuable I am. I can do this and this and this and this. And yeah, I think there is something underlying there. Just because there's just so many negative experiences that I've had as someone with ADHD of like forgetting everything or being late to things and like always a lot of times being criticized for who I am. So like maybe trying to build up some self-worth by deeds is a lot of like what's happening of like, oh, but look at me, I'm on a podcast and look at me, I'm doing this and this and this and this. Look how valuable I am now, right? So I do think there's something there. And I don't think that's just me. I think there's a lot of women in particular have this.
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we just got so deep. That was deep. I think that strikes on me too. Yes, I hear that a lot of women, but also I do spend a lot of time thinking of divine masculine, divine feminine. In my divine feminine self and the people pleasing self side of me, my God, I mean, talk about the father wound, just trying to show up and show out at everything you do. Like if I will not do one thing extremely well, because #ADHD, I will do all of the things and I will strive to do all of them perfectly.
Yeah. And I'm not going to ask for help either. Like,
of course not,
forget that.
Do it yourself.
Forget that. I'm not asking for help because that is like a sign of weakness. And like, I already have so many weaknesses, right? Like they're like rubbed in my face all day long of like all the weaknesses that I have. So I'm not going to like give you another weakness to use against me. I'm going to just handle it on my own, which is very stressful. And like humans are not meant to do it on their own. Humans are meant to like work in a community and like ask for help and be there to support one another. But you know, it's just not as easy, I think, for someone with ADHD to ask for help. It's just flat out not. So it's frustrating.
Some of the things I hear from clients are like embarrassment and shame are two of the hardest things to deal with, and they'll do anything to avoid that. So I think that goes back to our upbringing, the way that we're talked to about ADHD, how we're confronted about different ADHD tendencies that we have, characteristics, and told by parents and teachers and other people in authority kind of, you're not good enough, or you didn't do this thing. Why didn't you do it? Right? Like all of those types of criticisms become more internalized for us. Yeah. And then we avoid a lot of that stuff later on. We're resistant to asking for help because we're like, well, I'm going to show you I can do this all on my own to prove that I can do it.
Yeah, I feel like the difference, I think, with like a late diagnosed ADHD woman versus like someone diagnosed in childhood is like, I guess if you're a child and you're doing something, like you can at least blame the ADHD, right? Like you could say like, hey, and you could get help for that part of the struggle that you're having. But if you're diagnosed as an adult, like everything that went wrong in your childhood is just blamed on you. You are the problem. You are causing problems in school, and why can't you just do XYZ? And there's no explanation for it. So you just internalize like all of it. Yeah. And when women get diagnosed later in life, like it's this crazy roller coaster of like figuring that out of like, maybe that was ADHD. Maybe this was ADHD. And it's a roller coaster.
Wait, forgive me for the clarification, but you were describing that process there at the end internally. That like even because here I was thinking like, man, late stage diagnoses are challenging for so many reasons. And the big gorilla in the room has to be that like all of the damage was done already. Like up to that point, all of the trauma, the complex trauma,
you're just unraveling it as an adult.
You were just describing like going back. The added, I mean, that sounds like another thing for overwhelm, Aaron, and burnout. It's like the added internal unweaving, like the unraveling of which behaviors were because of this undiagnosed thing that I was struggling through, or which behaviors are just mine. And wait, are they all just me? Like I can imagine that being I
mean, even burnout, like we're talking about, I didn't even have a word to describe what was happening to me until like 3 or 4 years ago. So like, I just thought I couldn't keep up like everyone else. Like I'm just this weirdo that's had all these jobs and like can't keep a job, bouncing around, like just impulsive and flaky and all these things and like words used to describe me that like
Yes.
didn't resonate with me really because I knew that like I'm a hard worker and I'm really like I'm a good person. Like how can there be this many bad things about me? Like I'm a really good person. So I think just the unraveling of that as an adult, it's a lot.
Those
Sounds like it.
I think the difference is like that there's these characteristics that you see or that are kind of told to you and you take it on as someone that's diagnosed later in life. You blame yourself. It's this self-blame, shame that goes to a deeper level that it's like I must be lazy. There's nothing to there's no reason for this. There's no explanation. It's like I'm just different. We don't know why. I must not be trying hard enough. I'm lazy.
And that's
I'm
where masking comes into play, right? That's when we're like, oh, I need a mask to be around this group of people. I need to pretend like I'm not who I am to get through this situation or this environment.
And how much energy does it take to
oh my gosh,
put that mask on?
Physically painful. Sometimes I'll have Zoom calls. To this day, I'll have a meeting or Zoom call and I can literally feel my head hurts like from the back. I'm like, is this the weight of a mask? Like literally the weight of a mask. I can actually feel it in my body. Yeah, it's like tense and it's just like trying to be what everyone wants you to be versus trying to be your natural, the fun-loving self is, it's a lot of what women are going through. A lot in men, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I just I do think it goes across the gender spectrum and experience of people do embody a lot of that shame and mask quite a bit because we're forced to, right? A lot of the world is built for these neurotypical brains and it's not built in a way to be accepting.
I know. It's getting better. I feel like it actually is getting better. So I feel like since I've started talking about ADHD, like even in that short window, I feel like acceptance is growing. The stigma is kind of disappearing a little bit. There's resources out there that weren't there before. I think it is getting better. So I like to mention that also.
Yeah. And I hope it is getting, I think the knowledge and the awareness has improved, especially since 2020, especially since COVID times and creators like yourself. You've done a lot to be able to put ADHD front and center into the zeitgeist.
Yeah, but can I preface that though? Because I think I've told you guys this a little bit before, but like me talking about ADHD online started from a completely selfish place. Like I needed help, I needed resources, and I needed to connect with other women. And so for a long time, it was completely selfish. It was just like, how can I need help? And then maybe a year or so in, it definitely shifted to like, wait, now I have the knowledge to like help other people because I've learned so much in this community. And so it flipped a little bit to like, okay, well now what can I offer to this group of people that obviously are in the same place that I was a year ago? And there's so many people that have stepped up to do that. And it maybe not from a selfish place like mine was. But yeah, it's been really cool to see people fill the gap of like the people who need help and the people who offer help and try to like connect those dots.
Well,
because
regardless if your initial motivation was, I need this for me, I'm doing this for me, those videos and reels and things, they resonated with people because they could recognize, hey, someone's saying the thing that's in my head that I'm thinking, and they're saying it out loud, and no one said this before. So they related to that. And I think there's power in that. Like, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I want to be the mom in the room for a moment. That's not fucking selfish. That's self-interested. Selfish is like it has too much of a negative connotation.
Self-serving or
self-preservation. Self-preservation.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, self-preservation might be the actual word.
You're like, hey, this is the only thing I can think of right now. Is there anyone out there? In fact, actually, I think
it's like a desperate
help.
Cry for help.
The coolest thing is like when you're vulnerable and you're like, hey, I'm having this experience and it's like really painful and thousands of people are like, oh my God, I'm having the same experience. There's something so powerful about that. not just for me, but for other people to like, wow, nobody's like said that in the way that resonated with me before.
You mentioned it on our Winter Park Fireside, which is, shameless plug for the Firesides, ADHD Adulting Firesides on Attention Different. You mentioned that like you had told 50,000 strangers was the way you phrased it, that you were ADHD before you told your family members, right?
Yeah.
So there's like,
oh man,
there's something to this, right? Like there is something to flocking, right? And
I just want
here. Yeah.
I just want to say that my family's great and wonderful, and that has nothing to do with that statistic.
No, it's the ADHDers on the other end of the line. It's the people like you. I think on some part you were reaching out the same way. Aaron was the same way I was when I dragged my mommy to the first CHAD conference in 2014 because I was nervous about people having negative opinions. But what I was seeking, what we were seeking, is our community, is those people who will respond, oh, I totally get it. When you say, hey, I course.
Yeah, it's so interesting because it can be really scary to just put that out into the void and just wait, will anyone resonate with this? Or am I going to get chastised for saying something stupid on the internet? It's a very fine line.
Right. Those are stakes, real stakes. And instead
those are real stakes.
Endorsement, ringing endorsement, me. Oh my God, I see myself in you.
Which totally validated so much of what I've been going through. And people ask me all the time, like when I do talks or interviews or whatever, like, what would you tell someone who's newly diagnosed with ADHD? And I always say, find your community, find the people that you resonate with. And because it impacted me so much to have that community to bounce things off of. And it is crucial, I think.
Community is so healing. Feeling it. It's a human need, right? This need to be seen, to be supported, to find your people and find your place. If you don't feel that, if you feel alone, especially when you're a woman who's late diagnosed, it's like you probably felt like a fish out of water your entire life. And now
it's an alien.
Yeah.
An alien.
Yeah. Now it's like, well, where's my people? Who can relate to this?
Oh, where are my aliens? Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I also growing up, everyone I knew who had ADHD was a hyperactive boy. I did not resonate with the term ADHD. I wasn't like, well, that's not me. I'm in the back of the room daydreaming and doodling and that kid over there is disrupting class. And I just did not see a correlation between their experience and mine.
A lot of people don't understand the kind of inattentive presentation of ADHD and what that looks like, especially for women, and how they get overlooked.
Yeah. The moments like these, pop culture is that strong. It's just that's the case. Is whenever something enters the pop culture pipeline, and you get 50 years of Dennis the Menace. You know what I mean? Or 60 years. That's just inculcated. That's what ADHD is. That's what ADD is.
I've never seen a movie or a clip of a girl in school daydreaming and someone going, oh, she's got ADHD.
Right? No, yeah, like what episode?
I've never seen that before.
Kids cartoons, we had the term. It's wild to go back and watch 90s cartoons. The term ADD does get thrown around, but it's predominantly little boys. It's
negative. It's so negative. It's so negative.
Yeah,
and it's not all negative for me. I understand that it's negative for some people, and some people hate the term superpower, and I totally understand all of that. But it's not all negative, and I hate that it's portrayed that way because we already get so much negativity for having ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Why does everyone have to portray it as being this awful, horrible thing? There are parts that are okay, that are unique and different. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's taken me a while to come to terms with that, actually, because I did think it was bad all of it was bad for a long time.
What are those things that you've come to terms with that you're these are the strengths? These are some of the upsides of having ADHD that you've recognized?
So I actually like hyperfocus. I can get so much work done in a short amount of time. I love how deeply I can research something and quickly know everything about it. That's really fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel because I've been through so much as someone with ADHD and all the negativity and all that, I'm deeply empathetic. And I feel that is probably one of my top strengths, and not just mine, but a lot of people with ADHD are deeply empathetic and understanding because we've been through some things. This has not been easy to have ADHD. So we just give people more grace, I think, in the world than a neurotypical person might. I think that's like really powerful and really a strength to be cherished, is having like such a compassionate and empathetic nature.
I like the way you phrased it too. I don't think I've heard it that way, because we hear heightened empathy, heightened compassion, but like giving grace to the world more, like that. I'm also going to steal that. I think that ADHDers do have more grace. It's so fun. It's so funny to say what I'm about to say. Somehow, the most impatient humans in our species somehow have the most patience when it comes to like other people's emotional dysregulation. How fucking weird is that?
100%.
How weird is that?
So
We have an
weird.
incredible amount of patience for others' emotional dysregulation, but we ourselves are the most impatient people alive.
Yeah, that is interesting. And I wonder, there's probably more discussion or more studies that need to be done on that. Because I do feel like it is a core thing that most of us with ADHD, when I've been in a room with ADHDers, it's all I can see is like how loving and compassionate and how much grace we give to one another that we don't really get in the rest of the world. So like it's something that I think the world needs that we can provide.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm seeing it in the room of non-ADHDers too, though. That's what's powerful about this sentiment of giving grace to others. I'm reflecting on the times I've been the not sole ADHD in the room, but like the prominent one. And there's non-ADHDers and somebody's having an emotional dysregulation, and person B, C, and D is not okay with it. Like very
judgmental,
critical of
yes.
that person. And I'm the one going, hey, whoa, they're just having a moment. Like they're just having a moment.
Right.
It's okay. We'll all pass this together.
Yeah, I think it's just because we've been there. Like we can put ourselves in the shoes of someone who's struggling very easily because we've struggled so much. So I think that's like really powerful if you use it the right way or in the right environment. And honestly, I think the world is lacking that like desperately. And that's why like people with ADHD are like so important to the world. And I didn't come to that like naturally right away. It's taken me a while to like get to that place, but I do feel like we have things that the world actually does need. And one of them is radical empathy and grace. And I think that's underestimated and not talked about enough, because I think it's like once you're in a room with people with ADHD, you totally understand and you see how prevalent it is. It's a strength.
I'm gonna zoom all the way back out for a second. What do you think is the antidote to burnout? What do you think?
Oh, man.
Maybe not just one thing, but like what are the things we can do to reverse burnout, to get out of burnout, to help ourselves?
Or the antidote to it?
That's
the
tough.
antidote. The antidote.
I was confused as well, but no, but okay, great. So the antidote to burnout. Okay. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Everybody's like, how do I not be in burnout? Like that's the number one question, right? So I go back to my friend Meredith Carter, who you guys probably know. Once she told me that like her core purpose every morning, every day is burnout prevention. She wakes up, she looks at her calendar, she looks at her schedule and her energy levels, and her focus every day is how do I prevent burnout? And I honestly think that's the best place to start is like, what can I do? And just thinking about it is huge. Just like being aware of like, whoa, I'm really prone to burnout. What are the things in my life that like give me energy? Like journaling is so important to me. Like, okay, like noticing the things that give you energy and light you up,
So all those
adding
things,
them into your calendar intentionally. So it's like intentionally being self-aware, I think.
and doing the self-care things, right? So all those things we mentioned earlier, we were like, these things start to fall off. I'm not eating as much. I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm not working out. I'm not doing my journaling. I'm not doing all the different self-care activities. I'm not showering as much, doing my hair, brushing my teeth, like whatever the things are that drop off. Those are the very things you can plan for and say, I need to prioritize these. Let me make sure I'm doing these things first. I'm taking care of myself first.
That's so hard. But also like not beating yourself up if those things are falling through the cracks. It's just like, okay, well, let's get back on the train and not beat ourselves up for that. It's like, oh, thank you for noticing that this is what's happening. Now I can try to self-correct and like prevent burnout. And like maybe involving people around you to like maybe they notice when you're dysregulated, or they notice when you're not journaling, or they notice. And having someone like to bounce that off of is really helpful. It's hard to find that person, but I think it's helpful.
Yeah, bringing people in and asking for support and understanding from people around you.
I call my partner lately. This is recent pattern of behavior, but it's all to get burnout out of the room. Now 3 or 4 times. Hey, I have to make a game time decision. I'm either on the way to the gym right now. This is when the routine's been dysregulated, right? I'm either on the way to the gym right now, or I can do another hour of like work, whatever that work is, right? And partner being as wonderful as she is, goes, go to the gym. I know you when you don't get to the gym. Like I know what you feel like and how you feel by 4 p.m. or 5 or 6 p.m. if you didn't get there that day and put your energy. That's going to be more important than you making that phone call to the New Orleans one-stop application office. You know what I mean?
When I find myself in that situation, being like, okay, if I don't call that company, is the earth still going to spin tomorrow? Like, is everything still going to be all right? Like, I have to ask myself, like, do I need to like send that email tonight, or like, is the earth still going to spin tomorrow? Like I have to literally bring it back to that. Yeah. Because sometimes I feel like, oh, it's either now or never, because we have a lot of that now or never mentality.
Absolutely.
And so I have to remind myself, like, no, the sun's still going to rise tomorrow. Like the email's still going to be there. No one's reading it tonight. No one's checking the email. Like it can wait. Yes. And so, but like taking care of yourself is, it's so hard.
Well, that's like my critical journaling though. Like that in this comparison, I would put that my sanctuary time for an hour and a half, most mornings, if not 6-7 days. My sanctuary time for an hour and a half is at that gym. That's where I get to, and yes, I do the steam room. Yes, I do the shower. Throw it all in, all the amenities, honey. But but that's my time. And if I miss that for any kind of routine reason, it's Mardi Gras season, y'all. Like schedules are being thrown out the window. But it's that game time decision at like 10 or 11 a.m., just before our office hours air. And like, I can technically squeeze this thing in, but the day's already started. I missed it. I didn't get there at 7. So why go at all? That kind of catastrophizing. Whereas you call that person and you say, hey, or maybe it's you in the car, is the world starting to spin, et cetera, right? Do I go to the gym, or do I freak out about this thing? Is really what it boils down to. Or do I freak out about this thing for another hour? And the person who loves you goes, go to the gym, do the journal, write in the journal.
Yeah, but also like having like a bare minimum version of that too. Like, okay, maybe you don't have it in you to do an hour and a half at the gym, but maybe you could just go sit in the sauna.
That's literally what she said yesterday, verbatim. She was like, you can't do an hour and a half, but maybe, honey, literally the words were, maybe you go harder for like 45 minutes. And I was like, I didn't even need you to say that. I just needed the endorsement. And yes, I'm going
to we have to be able to give ourselves permission to let down some of those high standards, those perfectionistic standards, this all or nothing mindset that we get ourselves wrapped into. It is okay. It's okay. Today, for whatever reason, I don't have the energy to do that thing to this level. And it's okay, because I still can make progress. I still know that if I go and I just sit in the sauna for a little bit, I'm still going to feel much better than if I don't. If I miss that whole thing completely. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been having,
you always feel better.
You always feel better. I've been having this bare minimum journal version for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Like I don't really have the capacity to like do my normal journaling, but like my bare minimum is like, just write down a couple things you're grateful for. Or if you can't do that, just doodle, just go in there and just doodle, like draw something. Like it doesn't have to be like 3 pages of your whole life story. Like just 3 things you're grateful for, and close the book. Like you got it done. Check. Like now you don't have to beat yourself up. And I think it's hard because we do have that all or nothing. It's like, well, if I don't go for an hour and a half, like what's the point? Like if I don't, I don't go hard, what's the point? But there is a point. Like going for 5 minutes is also so important. So yeah, I think it is so hard and weird that we have this all or nothing.
The wagering
mentality.
makes it weird. The wagering makes it weird.
And the point is, right, when we ask ourselves, well, what is the point? The point's not the outcome. The point's not, well, am I getting the best workout and I'm hitting all these zones, or am I doing the journaling exactly right in this structure that, I'm spending all this time doing it that I usually do. No, that's not the point. The point is you're actually committing and recommitting to yourself, to this process.
Aaron.
That's the point.
Yeah, I know. It's brutal, isn't it? It's
I
brutal.
hate that brutal love. It's so true. That is what you're doing. You're just saying yes to you're the almost on every every example in my head that's spinning through right now. It's like, no, all of those things were something I was doing for someone else. Or,
Well,
you know
but
what I mean?
also the working out and the journaling, those two examples, like if you made it to the gym and you did it for like 5 or 10 minutes, like that's just like a little notch off burnout. Like you're just scratching off burnout a little bit at a time. Like instead of having 24 hours of burnout, you had 23 hours and 30 minutes. Like that's what it takes is you have to like scratch off a little bit of the burnout at a time.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
If you look at it that way, it's like, oh, well, this is going to help me not be burnt out.
No, I think
it's so hard to think about our future selves. Like, I don't think about my future self that much. It's a problem. But
if we made it sciencey, like if we made it really neurology based, that you're pumping more serotonin and more oxytocin or whatnot in defense of the cortisol. Right. Like it's sort of like, oh, I'm injecting just a little bit of this thing that's going to combat the heavy, the shame-based and embarrassment one, the cortisol, the stress hormone. It's like you're just pumping a little bit of positivity in there, notching off some of that negativity. Yeah, I like.
I mean, and living your life, like these are the things in your life that like you love and give you meaning, and it's so important to do the things you love. Period. So
what else are we living for? Right? What else are we living for if we aren't
sending
doing
emails?
This? Yeah, is your life all about completing the task, sending the email, doing the thing for someone else because they are expecting it? No, that's not what your life. That's not what living is about, right? Are we living to work? Or are we working to live?
Oh man, okay. So for part 2 of our interview with Trina Haynes for episode 2, we'll be talking about toxic productivity culture and the enemies outside.
Oh man, I got words for that one. I'm down.
We will definitely have you back for more of this.
I would love that. I would love that.
I think we got into some great things today. We're leaving our audience with some food for thought around burnout prevention, and self-care. So
yeah, I mean, that's all I can ask for is like, I hope someone listens to this and they're like, oh yeah, I haven't been doing XYZ. Maybe I could do 2 minutes of that today. And like, you just helped yourself, like maybe prevent burnout. Like that's a big deal. So
start with that. If you're struggling to ask and answer a question at the top of every day, make it the burnout one. That's a great place to start. If you're listening, hey, how do I prevent burnout today? And add a little bit of that in, whatever that is.
Yeah, and if you can't figure out what those things are that bring you like that energy, like that, maybe look at that. Like maybe spend some time. Maybe
that's your task this week.
Spend some time looking at that.
Yeah, write a list and because we need that menu of options almost, right? Of like, let's write that list of what are all the things that recharge me, that bring me joy.
Yes.
That give me meaning in my life.
Dopamine, is that what they call it?
The dopamine.
There you go.
I love that. Yeah. And make it specific to yourself. This one's important. It comes from my mother and I gave it to another friend in freshman year in college. Make it specific to you. It's not what is a really great song that everyone loves. It's what's your favorite song. What is your favorite brand of gum? What is your favorite
because like I don't necessarily want to spend an hour and a half at the gym. Like that doesn't light me up the way that it lights Steven up. So like, you have to figure out like what is the thing that lights you up. And if you don't have that, or if you don't know what that is, like maybe now's the time to explore what that could look like. Maybe try something. Try rock climbing. Try something like.
Also explore. Okay, same different sides of the same coin. But
because I think we get so lost in like the day-to-day life and like keeping up with all the demands that we don't even maybe we don't even know what recharges us.
Even though we might be spreading ourselves thin in certain areas and burning the candle at both ends. To kind of have some metaphors here and things, but we are doing it right. Like let's congratulate ourselves too. Let's recognize, hey,
I think so.
We did those retreats. We made these things happen. You are like making this conference happen, even though it's taking everything to get it off the ground. It's happening. Yeah. So congrats. We're amazing. We're amazing.
I know. On that note.
Yeah. And on that note. Air 5.
Where's the sound effects?
It is possible. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's times like this that I really think about how wonderful ADHD is. How gifted. It truly we have to work so hard and put the candle on both ends, but ultimately we're going to get to our goals.
Love you guys so much.
Love you too.
Love you too. All right.